Mhm, 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 mhm.
I went like this.
Uh-oh.
He went like
You were like
this.
that?
I looked at Hollywood and said, "Where'd he go?" Hollywood said, "Where'd who
Whoa.
go?" That's right. I feel the need. I feel
The
the need for
need
speed.
for
Talk to me,
speed.
Goose. Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Dad.
I know we
Yeah, we
we we
just
may
doing
we may have a little Top Gun flashback.
yeah, we got some Top Gun hangover here, folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
Ooh, and we are the Men of Masculinity, baby.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you. This is your
For
home
you.
of
This
healthy
ain't for us.
masculinity.
This ain't for us. This for you.
It's for
We
you.
have these conversations
For
all the
you.
time. This for you. I ain't
All day
adjusted
long.
my camera or nothing, man.
Look at you.
How's that looking? Is that looking cool?
I
Is
see
that
your
looking
face.
cool? All
That's all
right.
we're looking
That's
for.
all. That's all that matters, man. That's all that
All right.
matters. What's happening, man?
We
Yeah,
have
we
the
got a little
spaces.
bit of Top Gun hangover, man. We
Yeah.
we had to go
It
see
was good
Top Gun
times.
Maverick last weekend, man. That was good stuff, man. That was
Good time.
that was really good stuff, man. We it was definitely a lot of action, man. It was definitely a lot of action. I think they gave the fans what they wanted.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did. They definitely did. But that's not what we're here to talk about. I know we
What?
that's what we did, but that's not what we're here
No,
to talk
man.
about.
No, that is what we're because that was a perfect segue. See, you were
Was
supposed
it?
to come on, man. You were supposed to be Goose on that one, on that move right there, man. Because you were supposed to, or Rooster, at least Rooster in the other plane. Because I was about to segue, man. That was a perfect segue.
Was it?
Because that's what we
See,
did. That's what we did Saturday night. But then what we did Sunday was the
actually, that was
game changer.
Sunday. It was Sunday and then Monday because we had the
Sunday and then
holiday.
Monday. Yeah, my bad. We had a long weekend. So that was
I
what
don't
we
even know
did
where you
Sunday
at.
night. Sunday night we did Top
What
Gun
day is
Maverick.
it?
And then today is Tuesday, right? Yeah, today is Tuesday.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. But then Monday, dude, Monday we were like here, and then we went up to
Then we went
here.
like to here.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We went to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Yes, we did.
first of all, like and share, like I'm about to do right now. I'm
Yeah.
about to share.
And
I'm
make
about to
sure if
like.
you want to comment so we can see, go to the Men of Masculinity page on Facebook. And when you type your comments there, we can see them. I will do my
That's
best
right.
to go over to my page and see if you are commenting there and then chase you over to the other page.
That's right. That's right. Because if you comment on one of our private pages or one of our
We
personal
won't see it.
pages, we won't see it until afterwards. And we'll comment there, but we won't see it until afterwards. But if you want to join the show and be a part of the show, man, you go right over to the Men of Masculinity page, click, clack, and type that bad boy in, man. And you might be able to be up on the screen, man. You know
We'll
what I'm
make you
saying?
famous.
We'll make you famous. We'll make you famous or infamous or notorious. One
All
of the
right,
two.
so back to the segue because I missed the segue. I didn't get the call sign on that one. What was the segue?
See, the segue was we did Top Gun Maverick. Now we figured it out as Sunday night. And then Monday we did something whole nother level. We went H&L on them, man. We went whole nother level, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess is this our official maybe announcement? What do you think?
I guess we should probably let them know what we're talking about because they're probably going, "What in the world
They probably like
are these
hurry up here,
fools
get to
talking
it, get to
about?"
it.
Yeah.
Hey, your boys, the Men of Masculinity, are going on over the air FCC radio. That's right. The boys, Men of Masculinity. Not only are we taking things to a whole nother level here on social media, on Facebook and YouTube. By the way, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And then we're in the process of expanding to all of the podcast platforms. But then on top of that, we're gonna be on KLDC, Denver, Colorado, baby. That's right, 12:20 a.m. in the Mile High City. You know what I'm saying? We taking it up a whole nother level, baby.
We are. So we're going from online to on air to both. We're going both ways.
Both. Boom. We about to level this thing up, man.
We're
Y'all gonna see some
about to go
changes.
nationwide. I'm telling you what.
You see the little mini kind of logo, little change maybe up there. We working on some stuff.
Radio.
But man, we about to be Mad Men Radio, baby. You know what I'm saying? We're going FCC over the air. We taking this thing big time, man. We about to level up in this bad boy. So that was my segue, man. That was my segue to go from Top Gun Maverick to to top of the antenna.
I lost you a minute ago, but I got it now.
That's all right. That's all right, man. It's all good.
So anyway, back to business because.
So what are we doing, man? What are we doing? What are we doing, man? Get us.
So we're actually going to do a little rehash of what we did in the studio yesterday. And we're going to do it Mad Men style here online. So we're talking about what it means to be pro man. And so
Yes.
we're gonna get a little deep on what it means to be pro man. Now, that doesn't mean anti-feminine, anti-female,
Right.
or anti anything. It
Right.
means
Right.
pro man, pro masculinity,
Yeah.
pro healthy masculinity, because this is your
That's
home
right.
for healthy masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity, baby. We are proud to kind of represent a masculine voice, a masculine perspective, our own opinions, whether we agree with each other or not, whether you agree with us or not. Either way, we've both been men our whole lives, which everybody can't say that. And so we're bringing that perspective, and we want to promote healthy masculinity. We want to be your home for healthy masculinity. And so absolutely. So we talked about on the air, what does it mean for our very first show? What does it mean to be pro men in terms
Mhm.
of pro masculinity? And what does that mean? And so yeah, to rehash and go deeper, man, we're gonna have a hour-long conversation in the next 25 minutes. What do you think?
That's it. I think that's
Boom.
that's the way we do it normally, especially when we want to go deep and we don't have to
Yeah,
worry about our FCC regulation soup dogs. But
that's
anyway,
right. That's right.
so being pro man, like I said, isn't anti anything else. It's about being acknowledging that we are men, and then as men we are different than women, and that we have different challenges, different things. And so being pro man is number one, acknowledging that, hey, guess what, I'm a man, he's a man,
Yeah,
and we have man issues, and that's what we talk
yeah,
about. I mean, which is ironic because we know we've talked about this before. Majority of our audience are you ladies,
yeah,
and especially the most vocal ones. So we said, so guys, if you're
yeah,
watching, make sure you post a comment, let us know you're out there. But we're talking
yeah,
about men's issues, or what makes a healthy man. And so being pro man, especially in our context as Mad Men of Masculinity, because we're passionate about men's issues, being men, is about
mhm,
what does it mean to be pro healthy masculinity.
yeah. And you know, one of the things we brought, it's a safe space. It's a safe
It is.
space to just be a man, to speak, you know, from our perspective. You know, in common media today, you might have a man with a talk show like Steve
Mhm.
Harvey or something like that. You might have, you know, you might have somebody that has a platform where they speak, but you don't commonly hear men talking about men's stuff. There's no the view, there's no the talk, the table, the us, the there's no none of that for men stuff. And so we want to have a safe space where we can speak from a man's point of view, and and not only create that safety for us, but also create that safety for anybody that's listening, of a safe space. You know, because men, we value safety. And
Yep.
if we don't feel safe emotionally or just in who we are and our identity, then we're not going to stick around. So we want to make sure that we speak authentically from a safe space of manhood.
Yeah, and we know we've talked about before that, so, the three things that men need is respect, a purpose, and I forgot the other one. But when we talk
Yeah.
about the ladies, their three
Hmm.
needs, is safety, security, and
Hmm.
attention.
Yeah.
Well, men need safety and security as well. It's just
Yeah.
different. We need
Yeah.
emotional safety. We need to
Yeah.
feel like when we are weak or when we are challenged or traumatized, we can be safe with you. And we
Yeah.
know we've talked about, you can be triage for your man, but you're not gonna be the one helping him heal if you're a lady
Right.
in a with a man in a relationship.
Right.
However, that need to be able to express. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a human condition, but for men, it's,
Hmm.
we need other men to express with us, and that's why we started this station. That's why we started this show,
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
to put out those things to help men feel safe and feel like you're not the only one. I'm not the only one,
Right.
and we all have these same similar challenges. I mean, they may outpicture differently, though. We have
Yeah.
very similar challenges, and this is a safe space. We are creating a safe
Yeah.
space, and we want to help those of you out there in the audience to learn how to create a safe space and be pro man so you can have healthy men in your life.
Yeah, and you know, again, that providing that space, you know, we're going to be talking about topics that I mean, and really, this is not even us trying to be, you know, the experts and whatever. I mean, we're both
Mhm.
on our journey, like every man out there. We, you know, neither one of us are where we completely are where we want to be financially or health wise or relationally, all these different areas of exploration in terms of healthy masculinity. We hope to be facilitators of that conversation of all of these topics, you know, for men for sure, and then like I said, for ladies also, you know, for you all to be able to listen in and to hear, okay, this is how we think, this is how, you know, this is the things that we talk about when y'all aren't around.
Yeah. And for a main thing, when we get guys together to do that healing, to do that deep work, if they don't feel safe, they're not
Yeah.
going to open up. And
Yeah.
so having a platform like this, just to at least for nothing else, to get to that point A, because we all
Yeah.
want to level up. We all
Yeah.
want to get to that next
Yeah.
level, become better men,
Hmm.
become better people, better human
Yeah.
beings. But you can't do that until you
Yeah.
acknowledge where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can't acknowledge where you are now if you're not
Mhm.
in relation with safe men, having
Yeah.
those conversations to realize that, guess what? You're not the only one. I know every time when I get down or I get in depressed or in
Yeah.
anxiety or have issues, I tend to think I'm the only one. But
Yeah.
luckily I have men like this guy and other
Yeah.
guys like the B man group and stuff that let me know I'm not the only one struggling with that. And that's part
Yeah.
of being pro man is not that we're anti anything else. We're just
Yeah.
like, look, dude, we're dealing with the same thing. And even
Yeah.
selfishly, we've said it before, is like, if you want to master something, you must teach it. And for
Right.
our own growth, we're here to share what we've experienced so
Yeah.
that the other men out there don't feel alone. And you ladies out there can understand what men go through, because a lot of you go,
Yeah.
well, I don't understand. Men are weird. Men are different. It's like, well, no, we're different.
Yeah.
We just process differently. And when you
Yeah.
understand that, it makes your relating to men and relationships
Mhm.
much easier.
And speaking of, speaking of knowing where you are, our number one fan, we call our number one fan. I've gotten a hard time, by the way. I want you to know, Janine, that we get a hard time by calling you our number one fan, because we got other people that say, "Wait a minute, I'm
Yeah.
your number one fan." But we're
Been
gonna
there
we're gonna
longer,
officially
yeah.
title you our number one fan. But she says she's joining from the Houston airport. What? I mean, yeah, man. She's all over the place. She is faithful, man. She is in it, and so yeah, so in this transition, in this transition to expanding the platform, one of the other things we want to do is to do this with purpose. And part
Yes.
of that purpose, at least for us, is we believe that masculinity is like the tide, and when the tide comes in, all boats rise. I mean,
Mhm.
that when men are healthier, we're all better, we're all safer. You can't solve most of our culture's problems without healthy men. You can't solve human trafficking. You can't solve the addiction problem. You can't solve prison overcrowding, violent crime. You can't solve these mass murders, shootings that are happening unless you deal with healthy masculinity. And so that's part of our purpose, because we believe that as men and as your home for healthy masculinity, that part of that being a man and healthy masculinity should involve some level of purpose. Your why. What is your why? You got an X and a Y chromosome as a man, as a male. And so you have a why built into your the basic building blocks of who you are. We need to be living out our why, and we plan on doing that here through this platform.
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many conversations about what's your purpose, what's your why, and for a lot of guys, if you don't have it, if you haven't found it yet, I know in my experience, and a lot of times Kirk and I even talk about this, that we found our whys through our struggles and our challenges and our traumas, and
Hmm.
the way I grew up, and thinking, well, this is just how everybody grows up, and this is normal, but
Yeah.
and then struggling through all of my relationships till one day finally going, hang on a second.
Hmm.
I might be the common denominator in
Yep.
all this mess.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what does that mean? And then looking inwards and finding out, okay, well, where am I? What is it inside that is causing these things? What is the
Yeah.
story underneath? What are
Yeah.
the traumas and things? And then working to heal those. And a lot of that
Yeah.
healing comes from joining with other men in a
Hmm.
platform like this, or even in a private group, to
Yeah.
realize that, guess what? We all have similar struggles. We're all
Yeah.
dealing with similar things. And when I figured out that I wasn't the only one, it really made me switch to,
Hmm.
oh, okay, this is something that needs to be put out there. And
Yeah.
we all know there's not much positive masculine content, whether
Hmm.
it's radio or podcast or on the air or anything else. So that's where we're here. This is our why. This is our purpose, is to get out there and spread the word, the gospel, whatever you want to call it, of healthy
Yeah.
masculinity.
Yeah, and what you'll find if you kind of get into that space, that masculine space, or the manosphere as they may call it. Commonly, what you find is you can get down some bunny trails, some rabbit holes, and you can quickly find yourself in what's known as the red pill space of basically we don't need them, us as men. And some of that, I personally, this is my personal take. Some of it I really resonate with. Some of the
Hmm.
some of those content providers, I'm like, yeah, I get that. Like we need to step into our power. We need to own our power as men, but I stop where it begins to me to sound like us and them kind of a thing, like, they. I think, it starts in the mirror. Every bad relationship that I've had, I've been a part of. So I need to fix me before I can then begin to expect the other part of all the other parts of my life to come together. And so you have that red pill space, but then as guys, we also have that blue pill, performance driven, like the
Mm.
nice guy. We're supposed to
Nice.
just make everybody happy and all this other kind of stuff. And we don't plan on being red pill or blue pill. I think our goal should be clear pill in terms of the clarity of who we are as men individually, because we're not, all the same. We're completely we're different, although we have a lot of the same challenges. And so I think we need to get clear on who we are as men, and who we need to be, what we're called to be, what we're created to be, what we can be, and then be the best version of that, and then begin to use that to influence the world around us.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with anytime it's us versus them, anytime it's, being a victim of the other gender or being a victim of something, you're already at a loss. You've lost your
Right.
power because anytime you say, "Well, I'm a victim of," then you're
Yeah.
abdicating your power to whatever that thing is, whether it's
Yeah.
your parents, your past, your traumas,
Hmm.
your ladies, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what we really abdicate for is personal power, which
Right.
takes looking in the mirror and going, "Okay, what is this issue? What is this thing
Hmm.
inside me? I
Yeah.
need to bring this up and talk about this. I need to heal this so that
Hmm.
I can move towards healthy. I
Yeah.
can move towards being a healthy man because when we are healthy men, it affects everybody around us. When we're unhealthy
Absolutely.
men, it affects everybody around us and
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
those that we may not even see. And so being focused on being pro man, pro
Yeah.
masculine, pro healthy masculinity is
Hmm.
about helping not just ourselves, which you got to work on yourself. You got to work on the man in the mirror. Thank you, Michael Jackson. You got to work
Yeah.
on that dude
Hmm.
first, but it's
Hmm.
not just about you because as you like Kirk says, as that tide rises, all ships rise. So
Yeah.
you're not here doing this work. We're not here doing this work just for us.
Yeah.
We are the catalyst for ourselves, although
Yeah.
that affects every relationship we
Hmm.
have, our
Hmm.
businesses, everything, our friendships, all gets affected by doing that inner work and looking at what is it that I'm challenged by, reaching out and finding
Yeah.
out you're not the only one and doing the whether it's therapy or whatever the work is that resonates for
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
to heal that trauma, to heal those past things. Because what we're doing is becoming victims of our past, and it's
Yeah.
very common in this world, especially in the West, in the U.S., to go, "Oh well, it's my parents' fault, it's the schooling's fault, it's how where I
Yeah.
grew up," you know. So then,
Hmm.
but then you're abdicating your power to whatever that thing is,
Yeah.
and you need to take your power back. Go, you know what? I can change that.
Absolutely. And to be totally clear, this is my opinion. I'm not even going to speak for you on this one, JBK. I'll
Mhm.
speak for me. I got a feeling that you might agree, though. But women in our culture, Western women, modern women, have a whole lot of progress to do. I mean, have a whole lot of progress to do as a group. I mean, and to be clear, that message is not passed along really common in terms of, hey, ladies, maybe you need to look in the mirror and maybe you need to deal with some of that stuff too. And so women have a whole journey that I believe they need to go on in terms of self-reflection and growth and all that kind of stuff, and work that women need to do.
Mhm.
And so I don't want to pretend that that doesn't exist. Um, I do. At the same time, not even a but an and. I think it's still incumbent upon us as men to heal ourselves and to grow ourselves, and then we can start to say, okay, guess what? We've done this work. Now it's your turn, ladies, to do your work. I mean, and
Mhm.
then have some level of expectation. For the guy that says, oh, I got married and I lost everything and all this other kind of stuff. Well, that's not her fault. I mean, if you didn't have your assets protected in a dysfunctional relationship that you got into, that's not her fault. I mean,
Mhm.
there are some things you could have done better as well. And so yeah, on one hand, I don't want to be, I don't want to pretend that things exist in a vacuum. And if men just do our thing, then women don't. No, women, you absolutely have work to do. And I get kind of tired of, I see this a lot too, especially on social media. When something is put out there in terms of a woman improving or in relationships, like women do this or women do that or women should or whatever. It kind of without fail, without exception, you hear somewhere in the comments somebody say it goes both ways. And
Mhm.
that it goes both ways is kind of driving me crazy. Maybe this is a topic, I don't know, later on. But the point is, look at yourself, like just sit in that feedback. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, sit in that feedback about yourself and self-reflection, and let the other part do itself. But yeah, of course everything goes both ways. But when I hear that, to me, it sounds like if then, like I'm not gonna look at that
Mhm.
until you look at yours, or until you whatever. Or and in this context, this conversation, I'm kind of rambling, but in this
Mhm.
conversation, in this context, at this point, we're gonna look at us, and then when we get our poop in the group, then guess what? Then we can turn the tables. We can hold up the mirror. We talked about the mirror, several weeks ago. Then we can hold up the mirror in the other direction and say, you know what? How about you all start doing your thing?
Mhm.
We've gotten our stuff together.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm gonna even go a little deeper on that because we do talk about how healthy masculinity, when that tide rises, raises all ships. Well, we've talked about nice guy syndrome. We've talked about the history of it, and I feel like a lot of that lack of accountability when we talk about a lot of ladies, when you point at them, they go, "Oh," goes
Mm-hmm.
both ways, and there's not a lot of accountability. It's because there may or may not have been a healthy masculine presence to show them that, hey, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
There are repercussions, and so
Mm-hmm.
only even bring it all the way back full circle to because we as men stop being that frame holder and being that healthy masculine presence in the house, in the
Mm-hmm.
home, in the family, there is less accountability. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you have a lot of single mothers who may be jaded or they're raising their girls the best they can and their sons, they may not have that healthy masculine presence around to show them that guess what? Yes, son, yes, daughter, you can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
However,
Mm-hmm.
here's what it's going to take and here's the
Mm-hmm.
sacrifices because
Mm-hmm.
everything that's a blessing is also a curse.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you do has good and bad, and you have to be able to go, I want this and I'm willing to pay the price and do what it
Yeah.
takes to get that, which means
Yeah.
taking ownership and taking responsibility personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we've lost a lot of that because we've had a lot of guys that have gone nice guy on us or have gone blue pill or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and have lost that healthy masculine frame that goes, all right. I mean, I love some of the comedians that talk about, like, there's women and men, we parent differently. A woman would be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh no, cover up all the outlets, no, cover all these things and make sure there's no danger. A dad will most likely be like, hang on a second, wait, just wait a
Mm-hmm.
second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Watch
bet you
this.
won't do that again. Yeah, I bet you
Yeah.
won't do that
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
teaching repercussions. I think we've
Yeah.
lost a lot of that. I mean, the
Yeah.
the the participation trophy syndrome or
Yeah.
the the
Yeah.
the the thing that's been happening. Well, that doesn't teach that there's repercussions for poor play or there's
Mm-hmm.
repercussions for not working hard. So everybody's just like, well, I showed up. Where's my trophy?
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
how life works. I'm sorry.
Doesn't work that way. And yeah, I believe our facilitating this discussion ultimately is about us as men. There's the term out there, high value man, and those sorts of things. And I do believe that when we as a man up our personal value, and that's not even necessarily monetarily all the time, because if it's not there yet, it will be soon, where across the board women are outpacing men in terms of income, right? I mean, a lot of
Mhm.
relationships, it's just not feasible or practical that the man is always going to have a higher net value money wise. But guess what? You can still have tremendous value, and only part of that being financial. So I think as men begin to invest in ourselves and up who we are as men, then we can be high value. Then when we are high value, then we can start to say, okay, now who is seeing value in this? And that's the person that I want to be in a relationship with. And if a lady is not willing to value that, then she's not going to respect you anyway. And it's a complete waste of time to be in a relationship with her. I think it starts with us to up our game to become high value men in multiple different ways. And I think that starts with purpose. It involves, our mind, our body, our spirit, our bank account, our waistline, our mental state, all those kinds of things. But when we up all of that, then guess what? Then we can start to say, okay, I got some value, and who's willing to value this and to invest in this, in the value that I've put into it. And so I think that's all part of the part of that whole equation, man.
Yeah, I love that you brought up high value men because when we say a high value man, most of the time people immediately think one percenter,
Mm-hmm.
the big sixes, they make all this money, stuff like that. However, and you know this as well as I do, when it comes to really truly high value men, the first thing they have is self-respect. And that
Mm-hmm.
self-respect comes from looking in the mirror, doing the work, knowing who you are, knowing what you bring to the table. Because
Mm-hmm.
for uh, eons, centuries, I don't know, there's women and children are valued unconditionally just for being, a woman or a
Mhm.
child. A
Mhm.
man's only valued by what he brings. And so
What
we
he
always feel
provides.
like we're
Mhm.
what he provides, what he brings, what he can
Mhm.
add. And so
Mhm.
he feels like, well, what I got to bring stuff all the time. I got to do
Yeah.
stuff. Well, you may feel like you don't have enough value, but that feeling comes from not being looking in the mirror and going, well, who am I? What is my
Mhm.
purpose? What is my why? If you don't feel
Mm.
like I
Yeah.
bring value, you
Mhm.
haven't tapped into your why, you haven't tapped into your
Right.
purpose. And that purpose brings the confidence. That confidence brings the
Yeah.
self-respect. And that's
Mhm.
what's attractive to the ladies.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
will get you to those ladies where you can say, hey,
Yeah.
guess what? I know
Mhm.
my value.
Mhm.
I have my own confidence. I know what I'm about.
Mhm.
How about you? What are you bringing to the
Yeah.
table? And then that's when you build that foundation for a strong
Yeah.
relationship where you can grow together, build together, as long as each of you are doing your work, looking in the
Man,
mirror and
you got
even
to put her
checking in.
last comment. You got to put her last comment up on the screen, man. That is
All right, then.
phenomenal, man. In terms of us healing men, man. In terms of that value that we provide, man. When we heal ourselves, when we do become more valuable, and in terms of women's, essentially their kind of highest need is safety, right? And so I even see it in the context of they want a man that's taller than them in heels, commonly speaking, because there's a physical safety. They want a
Yeah.
man that's in good shape because that's also a physical safety. A man that has some kind of income or able to provide financially, because that's financial safety. A man that's generally considered good looking to her friends or her peer circle, because that's like social safety. And so when we up our value, when we heal ourselves and when we up our value, we can provide space, man. If nothing else, a safe space for her to not have to carry the burdens and the pressures of life. That we can be that source of grounding and foundation. We can be the frame for her picture. You like to say the riverbanks, to
Hmm.
the river. We can be all of that, man. And some of that it may involve a little bit of being somewhat financially secure, but at the same time, man, there's so much to that. But it all comes through the healing,
Yeah.
and the growth and the investing. And again, when a man looks in the mirror and he sees his value, he won't settle for less. I mean, he
Yeah.
won't put up with a whole lot of nonsense and a whole lot of all that drama and all that kind of stuff. He won't be impressed by your sexuality as the only
Mhm.
thing you have to offer. You got to bring something else to the table, and you're not the table when we come together. We're providing something, we're making something together, but you got to bring some tools to this thing.
Yeah. And that self-respect, that confidence comes from owning who you are. A lot of times, and I see this so much, especially with a lot of the my veteran friends and things that have gone through a lot of their PTSD work and really own that. And when you can own that and say, yes, I have this, or I'm working with this, or I live with this, and that's part of
Mhm.
you, and that's part of you, and you're no longer
Yeah,
hiding it. You're not
yeah,
hiding it from the world. You can own that. That
yeah.
ownership is part of who you are. That's
Hmm.
part of that personal responsibility. That's part of leading you to your why so that
Hmm.
okay, this is who I am. And it
Yeah,
also makes it a lot easier to explain to a potential partner what who you are, what you deal with, and so they can
hmm,
understand you. So that when you do, as a guy, go, I'm gonna go to the cave for a minute and deal with this and,
hmm.
and process this before I vent on you, and
Yeah,
have these healthy conversations. It comes from
yeah,
that ownership, and that's one of the things.
absolutely.
At being pro man and pro masculine, this is one of the things we also why like Kirk brought up for you ladies. It's the same
Yeah,
thing. When you own your stuff, you know your stuff, and you're willing to not hide it, but go, this is what I got, this is what I'm dealing with, and I'm
yeah,
working on it.
yeah.
I'm working on it. That's the biggest thing. If we're working on it, you got to be working on it too. Then we can work together.
Yeah. And so these are the conversations. So my son is 19, right? He's graduated high school, about to get out and do his thing and all that kind of stuff. The conversations that I'm having to him now is, dude, build your value, your worth, and all those kinds of things within yourself. And then these are the things that'll catapult you into life, into manhood, and into even your relationship space and all those kinds of things, man. Up your game and get in all the places you need to be so that you're the best that can be offered. And guess what? There's a lot more good women than good men in our culture. So when
Mhm.
just a few of us kind of up our game a little bit, guess what, man? We stand out a whole lot because there's more of them than it is of us. And at the
Yep.
same time, we have a lot more to offer to the women around us, because a lot of women are looking for more good men. So we're doing our part to help increase the number of good men out there for your dating pool, ladies.
Mhm.
So man, let's bring this thing
I
for
guess
this
we better
romance,
bring it
man.
in.
We better
Please,
line up
please
all our
buckle
little
your
feet here.
seatbelts and put your
Ladies
seat
and
backs and tray
gentlemen,
tables in their
ladies and
full
gentlemen, this
upright
is your
positions.
captain. We are about to land here on runway 23 left. You're going to be at gate number 54 and baggage claim 11. Thank you for flying the Madman Radio Airlines, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Anyhow, man, JBK, I think, man, we got to be ready to get some hate. You know, we're okay with that, you know, because we're doing
Bring the
something
hate.
different.
We know, at least we know
got to be
you're
ready
getting
to,
affected.
yeah, we got to be ready to take that. And man, we need to, you know, up our game. And people are going to accuse us of being misogynist. People are going to accuse us of being chauvinist. People are going to accuse us of all kinds of stuff. But you know, we got Janine, we got her, man. We know we got one fan out there. We know we got
one.
her.
We got
She's
one
on the
lady on
team.
our side.
We got one, and there's others out there. We got some faithfuls out there that
we got Nikki Nicole, super producer, on our side.
Oh yeah, Nikki Nicole, super producer. She's our producer for the show and all those kinds of things, man. But I think, you know, I think this is some key pivotal stuff that, man, we're about to step into. And again, if you didn't catch this in the very beginning, go back and watch this from the very beginning. But you know, we are launching Mad Men Radio, KLDC, Denver, Colorado, baby, 12:20 a.m. And then we're expanding to all the platform, all the podcast platforms out there. You're going to see some changes and some differences, but we are stepping this thing up.
Yeah, and make sure. Speaking of, don't just watch us on Facebook. Go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And once we get the locals channel going up, like and subscribe there. Join us and share. Please share. If you love us, if you like us, share. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Tell somebody about it. You know, if it's great, or if you hate it, you should tell somebody about it. We love you, Janine. And so yeah, JBK, man, I'm excited about this, man. You know, you my brother from another mother, man. I appreciate you, and I'm so glad to be on this journey with you, man. And
hey, we're living in purpose. We're showing you guys what it's like to live in purpose. You see these smiles on our faces. You see the light coming out. That's because we're living in why, living in our purpose. So find your purpose and let's go. Let's do this together.
Right,
Madman out.
Peace.